Now you can start.
Buongiorno a tutti, guten Morgen. And every year now we have the second edition of Poesiæuropa. And every year, now the second year, we have a guest from the, how can we say, German-speaking literature. That means not only poets from this two huge country, Germany. This means also poets from Austria, Switzerland, could be Luxembourg, or maybe the Alto Adige. And I'm very proud that we have here, for me, a special and wonderful guest from Austria, Margret Kreidl. So give a little applause for Margret. I will give a little introduction, not very long, because I'm not a writer and speaker of a long form. And then we will start with the program. That means poetical essay text from Margret, and with Maria, a kind of talk, dialogue. So I would like to introduce Margret Kreidl from Austria. Margret Kreidl is a genuine and prize-winning poet and writer. She grew up close to Salzburgo, the city of Mozart, the great composer, and 𝐬𝐞𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐦𝐛𝐫𝐞, a sweet praline. After the Matura, the high school, she graduated at an economical school and studied later at the University of Vienna, of Graz. So Graz is the second large town in Austria. It's a wonderful little city and has a huge tradition of Austrian literature. It's very important to know we have that Austrian literature is not the same than German literature. Maybe this can be a topic of the talk, of the dialogue. In the end of the 1980s, Margret Kreidl became a writer. Margret published several books of poetry, short and essayistic prose, also of miniature plays, including works for the radio and theater. She also teaches at the Literary Institute Sprachkunst, language of art or art of language, something like this in Vienna, and also at the theater school named after Max Reinhardt, the famous director. Some of her books are between the genres, a kind of mixed media, a melange, you would say in Vienna, of different forms and content, like the book Zitat Zikade zu den Sätzen, maybe translated into English, quotation and cicada. I think simply a brilliant book and my favorite book of Margret. In the last 30 years, Margret Kreidl developed a substantial work of aesthetical questions and the human ground. What is the human ground? Don't think that I will give an answer now. Very welcome, Margret.
Buongiorno a tutti. Unfortunately, I do not speak Italian. I like the rhythm and the music of your language, so I have to get to know Italian. For the beginning, I have to say I'm simply very, very grateful to be here on this special, in this special place on this island. Thank you for the invitation, Maria and Tom. After 1.5 years of lockdowns, to meet people, to get in contact is so wonderful. And during the last 2 days and nights, my partner Lucas and I had so many good talkings with Helen, Francesco and Silvia, and so on and so on. So I'm simply grateful for that. I have to say that this travel, this journey to Lago Grassimeno is a return in some way, because at the beginning of the 90s, I were here with my partner Lucas 𝐬𝐞𝐭𝐭𝐭𝐞 in Pasignano sul Grassimeno, where he did an interview book with a German poet, Paul Röhr. Wenn man mich so reden hört, when you hear me talking, it was the first one of a interview book with Paul, our friend and colleague Paul Röhr. But we have never been to Isola Polvese. So it's not only a return, but it's also first coming here. And 10 years later, we were also in Pasignano for the second book, What I Forgot to Say, the second book Lucas did with Paul Röhr. And we have never been to Isola Polvese. So it's a return. We were in the 90s and at the beginning of 2000, we were traveling through Umbrò. And I'm really touched by this landscape, by the people, by the art. Yes. So, and now I will start reading, I think. I hope everybody has got the English translation of Versuchsreihe Rot, experimental series Red. And yeah, Maria, if it's okay for you, I start reading, and if it's okay for you too, then because I have this English translation, and I could read it in English, but with such a heavy Austrian accent, it wouldn't sound good. So, but I wait a little bit. I see that somebody. Yeah, but I will wait. We have our time. We take our time.
Give us a signal to start. Is that okay? Yes. Good?
Good?
Okay.
Good. Okay, then I start. Versuchsreihe Rot. Am Schreibtisch lesen, abschweifen, ausschweifen, umherstreifen, das eigene Schreiben stören. Schreibtisch. Notieren, zitieren. Das Zitat ist kein Exzerpt. Zitat. Zitat, Zikade. Zirpen steht im Wörterbuch. Wörterbuch. Und inspirieren. Spirare ist das Stammwort. Hauchen, atmen, leben. Ich höre mich atmen. Mein angespanntes Atmen beim Schreiben, das rechte Knie gegen die Tischplatte gepresst, Schreibtisch, Schraubstock. Der Oberkörper vorgebeugt, der Kopf verdreht. Auf dem Küchentisch, das ist mein Arbeitstisch, steht eine weiße Obstschale mit Orangen, Äpfeln und ein paar Pflaumen. Rhythmische Variation von runden Formen. Stillleben. J'aime l'émotion qui corrige la règle. Juan Gris. Fruchtstück, Blumenstücke, Küchenstück, gedeckte Tische, spanische Früchte und Mahlzeitstillleben. Bodegones. I don't know if I spell it rightly. but the Spanish colleague will tell me afterwards. Ich schmecke die Feige, ich höre die Geige, ich rieche die Blumen, ich fühle das Tuch. J'aime la règle qui corrige l'émotion. Georges Braque. Licht. Die Früchte ins Licht setzen, die Früchte mit Licht erfüllen. Der Tisch hat sein eigenes Licht. Schicht. Künstliche Lage von Steinen, Holz und anderen Stoffen. Papier. Ein Haufen Papier, Zettel. Ich finde in meinen Notizen Vorbereitungen, Aufforderungen zum Schreiben, Aufforderungssätze, einfache Sätze schreiben, streichen, laut lesen. Stimme. Der eigenen Stimme nachgehen, nachgeben oder widerstehen. Nacht. Ich schreibe in der Nacht. Ich schreibe in der Stille. Da läuft kein Fernseher, kein Radio, nur die eigene Stimme unterbricht die Stille. Stille. Buchstabe. Der Buchstabe Alif ist ein Lichtstrahl. Ist es schon hell? Es ist dunkel. Nachtarbeit. Die Bewegung und das Gewicht von Träumen aufzeichnen. Precisely. What is a dream? A certain juxtaposition of word and image. William S. Burroughs. Freizeit. Der tote Schnabel singt noch und der Mond reimt sich doch auf ein schwarzes Loch. Ich träume von meiner Vergangenheit als Tier. Phyllis Chesler. Das Wort Tier geht auf die indogermanische Wortwurzel doi zurück. Stieben, wirbeln, blasen und bedeutet atmendes Wesen, lateinisch animal, Tier, Lebenshauch, Seele. Ich höre mich singen. Oder ist es ein Summen? Summen. Ja, ich summe. Aber wo beginnt das Summen und wo endet es? Wo vermischt es sich mit dem aufsteigenden Singen? Beim Aufwachen die übliche Verzweiflung, ich bin stumm. Die einzig weibliche Vokabel ist ein liebender Summton, mit dem Frauen auf Frauen antworten, auf Frauen allein. Christa Reinig. Gedicht. Eine einfache Zeile, eine erweiterte Zeile, eine rhapsodische Zeile, eine beschwörend rhapsodische Zeile, eine kleine, strahlende Zeile, eine kleine Zeile. Zitate sind nützlich. Quotations are useful. Quotations. Wie geht es den Stieglitzen? Ossip Mandelstam. Die Antwort schickt die Frage heim. Weg von hier, das ist mein Ziel. Franz Kafka. Der Vorsatz ist ein fliegendes Blatt. Ich soll unterschreiben. Unterschreiben Sie hier. Aber ich habe keine Hände, um zu unterschreiben. Und ich weiß nicht, wo meine Hände begraben liegen. Meine wild behaarten Hände. Ein Traum. Tagebuch. nichts geträumt. Fast nichts geträumt, heute nichts geträumt, so lange nichts geträumt, nichts geträumt, nichts, nichts, die ganze Zeit nichts geträumt, wieder nichts geträumt. Bei einem Baum gewesen, so schöne Sachen geträumt. Einen Baum. Freiheit und anderes Obst. František Listopad. Blühender Apfelbaum, Tapetenborte auf einer Holzplatte. Wo ist der Tisch? Where is the table? Er ist weggewischt. It has been wiped out. Küchentisch. Der Salatkopf wächst. Ich komme mit den Äpfeln ins Gespräch. Ich beiße niemanden. Der Zweig blüht weiter, während er Früchte trägt. Zwischen den Zwiebeln geht etwas zu Ende. Ich schäle eine Gurke, dann kämme ich die Pfirsiche. Gelb muss leiden, sagt der Mann, der hinter dem Tisch steht. Ich will aufstehen, aber ich kann nicht. Er beugt sich zu mir. Schreib Apfel auf die Serviette. Apfel. Wie viele Farben hat der Buchstabe A? Buchstabe. Farben. Gelb zieht nach Norden. Weiß ist schon lange fort. Grün hat sich verborgen. Blau ist gestorben. Schwarz ist nur ein Wort. Rot ist die Farbe von dort. Er sah nichts als die blaue Blume und betrachtete sie lange mit unnennbarer Zärtlichkeit. Novalis. Blumenrot. Bring mir eine rote Blume. Eine Feuerrote, eine Purpurrote oder eine Zinnoberrote. Bring mir eine rote Blume. Eine Rubinrote, eine Weinrote, eine Lachsrote oder eine Korallenrote. Bring mir eine rote Blume. Eine Tomatenrote, eine Kirschrote, eine Kermesrote oder eine Erdbeerrote, eine Himbeerrote. Bring mir eine rote Blume. Eine persische Rote, eine Scharlachrote oder eine Infrarote, eine Verkehrsrote, eine Leuchtrote. Bring mir eine rote Blume. Eine Cadmiumrote oder eine Krabrote oder eine Granatrote. Bring mir eine rote Blume. Eine Signalrote, eine Permanentrote oder eine Echtrote. Thank you, grazie.
Thank you, Margret. Very stunning reading. It's really stunning. So we can start our little conversation. First of all, as you might have heard, the poem is divided into two lines, I would say, two parts, two sentences. It has a kind of double reading set. And it reflects on the meaning of series, variations, music, also colors as tones, so music and tones, gives to the poetics, I wouldn't say a form, but a shape. Could you please explain how you came to this writing, and maybe also the difference between form in poetry and shape, because I think that is quite interesting.
Maybe I show the book. You can have a look at it on the table. It's like this. It's a part of this, and then there's some sort of commentary, reflection, glossary. But it's only words and certain words which are repeated in this glossary. Concerning this special thing of text, this montage, in some way montage text, it's you can say a long poem, but it's also with short prose in it. And for me, it's very important that there is the white in between. So it's really a montage text for me. In this book, quotations cicada zu den Sätzen, what means it's about sentences, but also towards sentences. It's both. Yeah? I can translate it into English, but it's this, going with sentences and writing about sentences. And I have, the whole book is a composition of this montage texts and poems and some sort of poetics, interviewing myself, reflecting on writing, on art, on other authors. For me, we are sitting like one of my favorite sociologists, American sociologists, say we are sitting on the shoulders of giants. So for writing, you need reading. So it's also meditating about other authors and other artists. I have other texts. One text is rather biographical, architecture of memory. It's also like written like this experimental series read. For me, it was important to find a certain shape. To have the fragmentary poetics within the text, and not this Anfang, Mitte, Ende, beginning, middle, end. This is no pleasure, like Gertrude Stein put it. Beginning, middle, end, this is no pleasure. So it's not a linear. For me, it was very important to write a text without a linear theme or form. Excuse me, my English. I try to find words.
It sounds very organic, I would say, while you are listening to it, but at the same time, in its visual aspects. While I was reading this for the first time, unfortunately, I could read only in the English version. I was thinking about a certain tradition, especially German literature, I don't know, but like 47, Group 47, or the avant-garde. But I think that this text steps forward from that tradition. But do you have some, I mean, I wouldn't say masters in that tradition, but how do you refer to that?
I mean, the Group 47, after the Second World War in Germany, there are authors who are important to me, but it's not my main tradition I refer to. I mean, on the one hand, there's an Austrian tradition especially after the Second World War, playing with language, broken language, also playing with the sounds of words and rhythm. It is not, especially in this, for this book, this tradition was important for me. I mean, I refer to poets from Austria, from Germany. The avant-garde surrealistic tradition is important for me, but it's not like this is the tradition and now you find it in my text, of course, but it's, I like reading. I would prefer to read for, I would say 2 or 3 years and nothing, no writing. So I have many books waiting for me. I refer to visual arts. I have done many projects with artists and also with musicians. Visual art is really a source of inspiration for me. Yeah, this is quite important. And I like quotations. I quoted Gertrude Stein when I first read Gertrude Stein as a student in Graz at the beginning of the 80s. It was for me like, boom. It was a shock because I was not used to this literature, and I said, "Oh my God, what is this?" But that was really important for me. Or also Friederike Mayr-Eke, who died 6 weeks ago.
Could you tell us something about Friederike? Because I think that our students don't know much about her.
Friederike Mayr-Eke is the most, for me, but not only for me, Friederike Mayr-Eke is the most important female poet in Austria after the Second World War. And I really adored her as a poet and as a person, which is not always the same. And together with 𝐬𝐞𝐭𝐭𝐭𝐞 and others, she was also connected to the Wiener Gruppe, which was a very important, after the Second World War, after the Nazis and the Austrian fascism. I mean, that meant from the beginning of the 30s, because we had the fascists before the Nazis. This is always forgotten in Austria. There was a fascist regime before the Nazis took over Austria. It meant a decade, more than a decade of being cut off of all modern avant-garde traditions. And after the Second World War, very young poets, among them was Friederike Mayr-Eke, were really searching, seeking, looking for connecting with the avant-garde before the war. But then they developed their own forms, developing it from surrealistic, from other futuristic traditions. And this was a very lively thing. And it was not only literature, but also visual arts, music. Also, H.C. Artmann was a member of this group, and at the beginning of June, Tom Schulz had a wonderful evening organized in Berlin, where we celebrated the 100th birthday of H.C. Artmann, and all day they connected to each other, and then in Graz, I met many of them, and I was listening to them, reading, talking, and that was very important for me to get into literature. These meetings and this really listening to other poets, and I couldn't say this is one of them. Of course, Friederike Mayrecker influenced me. She may be dead, but she isn't for me. She is an important influence. But also H.C. Artmann was important for me. I have other books where I wrote sound poetry and yeah. So I can't really say there's one tradition or one master, but yeah, it's influences from literature, visual arts, yeah.
Would you define this text as poetry, essay, poetry? Do you think that, I mean, the role of poetry nowadays could be to be in a way an essay and an authentic way of making essays about life and the human round? What is essay poetry for you?
Yeah.
Or poetry essay? I don't know how to define it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's also difficult to define it because from my beginnings as a writer, I began with theater plays and radio plays, and only years after I had my first book published. And I always mix the genres. And I mean, this form of poetics or poetic essay is, yeah, really a mixture. It's for example, where I go, my Stammbuchhandlung, how would you say? Because my favorite bookshop. And Brigitte always tells me, oh, please, write down a genre. A normal genre, not things like what's the sentences. Where should I put it? So, because in our bookshops it's really novels. These are the towers with novels, and then there is this tiny little shelf where the poems are. Yeah, and I always tell her, Brigitte, you have to put the poems, not only mine. You have to put the books with poems on the table. Yeah? So this mixing of genres, I love it. Not only I write it, but I read books also playing with genres. And for me, it's, I did books with only poems, but for me it's a sort of writing. It's a trying to put quietness in it for this experimental series, a fragmentary shape. It's a shape to take my time. I can't put it in other words. And for the themes, the messages, the human ground, it's too big for me. It's simply too big for me. I think if you, I'm not writing to put messages or to, there are, I have political poems, I would say, dealing with, of course, I'm a citizen, dealing with, I don't know, the political crisis or environmental climate change. Of course, this is really, I mean, it's touching me. I'm within the society, yeah. But I was engaged in feminist politics during the university time, but also now. And this is another thing of writing. If I put political messages, I write in another way. Yeah, and this is not. I would put it in one line, because that's important for a manifestation. You have to put it in one good line, yeah. But for my writing, the form and the content, I couldn't divide it, or couldn't say, okay, this is the form and this is the content. For example, this red flower, it's from the Blue Book of 𝐬𝐞𝐭𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐦𝐛𝐫𝐞 inspired me. And then it came to my mind, okay, the famous blue flower from the romantic writers at the beginning of the 19th century in Germany. Yeah, so it's getting mixed up. Yeah, I'm talking too much. Sorry.
I was thinking about the Blue Night by Candice. In Italian, it's a Cavaliere Azzurro.
Yeah. I mean, this is for me is connected. Yeah, visual arts, and for example, writers. So it comes from this direction and from this direction.
I was trying to give a kind of interpretation of this text, and I found 3 levels. So the first is linked to literature and language, and I would say it's poetry with a P capital letter. The second is connected to the I, the person who I am, what I feel, how I live, and it's the dream. Now, I will ask you something about that. And the third is tone, rhythm, composition, shape and not form, and it's color and colors. Would you say something about that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so I got it well. I'm happy. Could you tell us something about how you compose these 3 levels? Because as you read, they are separated, but at the same time they are united. So
I compose it, I think so, like a puzzle. I write short pieces, poems, short prose, and of course I have some sort of leitmotif for the whole text. Yeah, der rote Faden with the bush. And I have it, I really write like that. Of course, I have a computer, but I print it, and then I come with the scissors and I put this on a table, and I put it together, but not, I try to avoid to put it together as a total whole system. So I need this white space in between. I mean, I can't interpret myself, but dream, the night, Nachtarbeit. I write during the night. Yeah? I'm a late nighter. I'm going to bed about 3 o'clock in the morning. So when everything is quiet. And Nachtarbeit also means dreams. I had a book with dreams, an alphabet of dreams, A to Z, with simple explanations. So I work with dreams, but also with invented dreams and broken dreams.
Very interesting, because Italian poetry is not so. Italian poetry doesn't talk much about dreams. Or maybe it refers to dream as something that could be visionary, only visionary or airy-fairy, I would say. But I think that the use that you make of dreams is very concrete. And it's, what do you think about, and how do you use dreams in writing?
I mean, I don't have a diary with dreams, even I've put it, so this is invented. 20 years ago, I started with a diary of dreams, waking up, and I told myself, oh no, writing in the morning, that's not my thing. So I stopped. Dreams, it's not only the dream we dream during the night. For me, dream is also connected to utopian thinking. Like Ernst Bloch, one of my favorite philosophers, the Prinzip Hoffnung. Which is very important for me. And also I quoted, for example, František Listopad, a wonderful Czech writer, resistance fighter from former Czechoslovakia. He moved after the war. He had to flee again because of the communists to Paris and then to Portugal. We had an email correspondence. He died, unfortunately. Dream is, I remember a sentence of 2011 at the Piazza in Madrid. If you don't let us dream, we won't let you sleep. So this is important for me. It's also connected. It's not put in this text, especially a political. I think it's under the surface. Yeah, there are some political things, but so dream for me is not only the night dreaming during the night, but also a utopian thinking. And for me, especially during this last 1.5 years, I think we need utopian and thinking, and to put it in a pathetic way, hope for our societies. Yeah.
Also, Andreas example used to say some decades ago, in a way, but there are some connections. It would be too long to explain, but I just put it. I have a couple of more questions before opening the dialogue.
Yeah.
So one question is about Austrian literature in comparison to German literature. If you can tell us some of the differences. Also, because I think that from Italy we perceive Austrian literature as the Middle European literature, so Middle Europe. For example, also Italy's Borio, other authors. So, which could be the main features of Austrian literature, and what makes the difference between them and German literature?
Yeah, so we have to get into a dialogue with Tom, being a German poet and me as an Austrian poet. I have to say that I'm not referring myself to be a national poet. For me, it's senseless. There are so many influences and books I read, but of course there are differences between the German and the Austrian literature, not for all poets, but I think there's a tradition. Of course, Austria was not, the Austrian-Hungarian Empire was not only a German-speaking nation. Yeah, there are so many influences even after the First, Second World War, many Hungarian poets, for example, came to live in Vienna because they were by the fascist movement after the First World War. They had to flee. There are so many influences from Hungary, from Czechoslovakian literature, where it's very important to me. For example, during the 30s, there was for me, a very important group, Poetismus. I can translate it to English. Poetismus, a group of Czechoslovakian authors. This, of course, is a difference to the German literature. And there is also, I think, this, in some way, how could I put it, more playful tradition concerning language as a whole. Yeah? So, just a few sentences. And now, what's the difference for you as a German author between German and
I think you are totally right what you said about this group of Wiener Gruppe. That was an avant-garde group starting in the 1950s in an area of restoration. We had not the same in Germany. So the group of 47 was not like the group of Vienna. The group of 47 was a kind of institution with functionary and something like this. I think I would like to say the same. I'm not a national poet. I was born in Eastern Germany. I grew up in East Berlin as we had the wall. So I'm closer to the east of Europe than to the west. That's one thing. One difference, maybe it's also a difference of mentality. Because Germany was this, I don't know, this big bulldog. Yeah, this is the kind of barbarian. We started 2 wars. Like Dylan said in the song, they murdered 6 million. Now they have also God on their side. So this is it. I mean, the history, what you said about Austrofascism, is very interesting, and I think we all have to know more about this. But for me, the Austrian literature is I don't know, Quelle, a source. It's like a spring water, and I see it more in the past than in the time now. But this is also a reason of literary market, because the literary market in Germany is very strong. It's also, we are a huge economic nation and blah, blah, blah. And also the market for Austrian novelists is in Germany. So you can, this is one thing. But in the past, maybe I'm living a bit in the past with literature and also with kind of movies and art. I'm not so 100% contemporary anymore. Margaret, you see in my writing too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I met Tom 2017 in Salzburg at the Poetry Festival, and we started talking. And since then, we are in some sort of talking. I think there's also a difference between West Germany and East Germany, I have to say. I experienced it when I was in Graz, which was a center of literature, not only in Austria. It was told to be the secret center of German-speaking literature, not Vienna. This is interesting. It was a smaller city. During the 80s, there were poets from, we talked about it, poets from Eastern Germany coming to Graz. And it was also another literature and another sort of dealing with language. Yeah? And then for the literature market, I have to say, I mean, these books these are small publishing houses, and no German publishing house, as you put it, would publish a thing like that. A mixture? What is that? We can't sell it. So, but in Austria, and it's one, I think it's also nice books made nicely, and I like books. Yeah, also the touching it, and I like this, and so it's also dealing with literature markets. And I have been living as a freelance writer for more than 30 years now. So I have a course for freelance at the university for music and performing art, but this is only a small amount of money, 530 euros a month. So I have I earn my money with readings, with of course lecturing, workshops, and we have established, Austria has established during the 80s some system of grants and also subsidizing small publishing houses. Because if not, there wouldn't exist an Austrian literature after the second, published in Austria or even published, because the German market was so strong and always dealing with novels that it would not be possible to publish literature like that. And my partner, Lucas Zepik, he is writing novels, but also novels not with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And yeah, maybe beginning and also end, but there's no middle. and essays, but also dealing with different genres within the text. So yeah, this is the difference. It's also connected to capitalism and literature markets and certain tradition of history. And for the barbaric, Austria is and was and is also in parts a barbaric country, because many of the highest Nazis were Austrians. So in Austria, they referred to being a victim of Nazis because Austria was occupied. But then Waldheim came, and then the world, other Europeans said, it was like that. Yeah, you can't tell the lie anymore of being occupied and being a victim and the Nazi Germany, and this is a tiny little Austrian, very nice little country. So it's not a very nice country. It's little, but not very nice.
We should open the audience, but I don't want to let you go because before that was the thing with the human ground. You said it's too big. I say you are a human being and you are speaking. So I would change the question to say, what is the aesthetical dimension of literature? What is your point of view? Maybe we can say ethical dimension, not the human ground, because Wittgenstein said aesthetic and ethic are connected very strong.
Yes, that's it for me. Aesthetics and ethics are connected very strongly, but I can't put it in one line or in two sentences. A journalist, for example, asked me, what is the content of this book? And I said, I can't put it in, because you need 3 sentences, and I can't put it in that way. And of course, I'm a human being, and I'm as I put it, I'm a citizen. I'm interested. I'm touched. I'm within society. When this COVID shit started, someone told me, oh, but there's no problem for you. You are used to home office work. And I said, okay, writing, that means obviously sitting at a desk or not at a desk, and you write on your own. But you need society. Maybe this is the ethics. Yeah? You need society. You need to be in contact with others, with talking, meeting, discussions, quarrels, differences. I mean, this is ethics for me. My connecting aesthetics and ethics for me, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Margaret. It's beautiful to hear you read Austrian German, really delightful. And I don't think I've heard an Austrian German. So beautiful. And yeah, I was very struck by a comment that we exchanged the other day when we were talking, and you mentioned something about being conscious of the influence of Sigmund Freud, living in Vienna and Wien. And when I was listening to your poem, I was also reminded of a kind of stream of consciousness that I kind of related in some way with work of James Joyce. And I wondered, I mean, not so extremely, but that sense of you at your kitchen table, observing the bowl of fruit and thinking of different writers, and this sense of the sentence and the sort of playfulness, the creativity. It sort of had that feeling of the consciousness flowing. And so I'd love to hear something, if you can, to talk about maybe some relationship with consciousness and the work of Freud, how that might influence you in any way, and if there is any connection for you with the work of Joyce.
Thank you. We had such good talkings. Yeah, the stream of consciousness, I mean, Virginia Woolf also is very important for me. I mean, there are so many, not so many, but she's very important for me because she worked in another way, but with this stream of consciousness. And I will give you the translation of a poem I wrote about Ulysses. So Sigmund Freud, I adore him as a writer for his theories, rather mechanical also, Traumdeutung. Yeah, I think also referring to me as a woman, I have my problems with the Freudian Traumdeutung. Yeah, but for me as a writer, he is a wonderful writer. He has a wonderful German. He has a wonderful rhythm of long sentences. This is just perfect. And also for cultural theory. Yeah? And when I wrote my alphabet of dreams, I had this big Traumdeutung red in red, I like it, on my table during the whole process of writing. Yeah? And when I first went to the Sigmund Freud Museum in Vienna, I was really like shivering a little bit. Yeah? And this is also connected to history. His couch is in London because he had to flee because of the Nazis. And two sisters of him were murdered in a concentration camp. So this is also Austrian history, because Vienna, before the Second World War, before the Nazis took over, especially Vienna, had a great Jewish community, and it was extinguished. So for me, Sigmund Freud was and is important as a writer, of course, for his dream technique, for his Redekur, talking cure. I like him as a cultural theorist too. I think he is a very interesting concerning cultural history, cultural theory, religion. So he is very important for me. And concerning the literary technique of string, Virginia Woolf, I read a lot of her being a student in Graz. Then I stopped, not because I didn't want anymore, but there were other literatures important to me. And then I started again, and I like her. And I talked with Celia about A Room of One's Own, which was for me as a young woman, a feminist, it was like, this is it. So this is a wonderful book. I'm quite missionary about that with my students. I tell them, you have to read Virginia Woolf. Not only A Room for One's Own, but yeah.
Yeah. I try to read the English. If you want, you can, se vuoi puoi fare anche la domanda in italiano. Sì, proviamo.
Ho trovato interessante e stimolante lo spazio e la distanza.
She found very interesting the space. She found very interesting the dimension of the space. And distances between verses and words.
Yeah. Quando è vicino, quando si incontrano, il commento entra dentro la poesia.
So when they are closer, she says that the quotations come into poetry.
Yes.
E quando è lontano,
and then the other way around, when it's
questa distanza cambia la sua qualità emotiva e anche concettuale.
So the distances between words makes the emotional and speculative meanings change.
Yeah, yeah.
Ho trovato che la poesia, abbiamo detto, è in realtà in questa distanza.
She thinks that the poetry, in fact, we can find it into this distance.
Quindi vorrei chiederti come hai lavorato nello scrivere rispetto a questa distanza, anche rispetto al suono.
How did you work in writing? I mean, how did you work in writing? Does this meaning of distance, is it important for you, and was it important while you were putting the text together?
For me, what you now said, the distance and the closeness to, these two movements, I would say. I mean, I started with theater. For me, the text is also a space. You walk through the text. For me, it is like that. And when I'm reading from the book, I play also, I put the words I put here. Sometimes I read it, I put it in my reading, I put it here. Sometimes I put it after this short section. So also when I have the feeling of the rhythm, I change it. Yeah, but this shape of text, it's really, there is a distance between this desk and the desk in here. And for me, it's also a form of repeating. Repeating is very important for me. This is also connected to Freud. We have to repeat, yeah. So, and to put a certain importance on some words and leaving others out, and yeah, it's also a space, a room where I put words on this side, and then there are other sentences on this side. So for me, it's also a space. Yeah. Yeah, please.
Trying my best to express myself in English, but maybe Maria will help me for me. I think it's amazing the way you find the distance between yourself and the object. And it was kind of astonishing for me to see that you were able to let us feel perfectly and clearly the space that there is between you and something that in some way is not you, but in other ways it's you. And this reminded me of another poetic work, which is Pablo Neruda's 𝐬𝐞𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐦𝐛𝐫𝐞.
Yeah.
So when you said that you have a strong connection with the ethical dimension of writing, because again, astonishing for me because he has been he performed a path where the ethical and political dimension was central. So I wanted to ask you if you think this connection subsists, or if he's an author that you like.
First, I have to say, if you felt the space, then I'm really happy, because for me it's important. I mean, it depends on also on you as an audience, and also the room where I'm reading. It's not always the same. It's you have to get connected with audience and room where you are reading. Pablo Neruda and Pablo Neruda were my first loves. When I was a pupil, I was 15. I started 14, 15. I started reading poems, and I read it in I think it was good to read it in without knowledge, yeah. Because later, of course, I read about Bertolt Brecht and Pablo Neruda and his fate, yeah. And his long poems. Pablo Neruda has these wonderful long poems, and I on the desk near to my bed there is a long. I don't remember the title, but I like his long poems, yeah. And there's also a certain tradition, of course, in Latin American, and also connected with España, yeah, because there were groups together, Rafael Alberti, Pablo Neruda. Of course, they have known each other and worked together or met, yeah, in groups. And yes, Pablo Neruda is an author I read a lot, and I like rereading. So from time to time, certain poets and authors come again, and I like rereading, repeating reading. Yes, excuse me, I have to, afterwards I have to show you, because here in this book there is a poetical self-interview where Pablo Neruda is mentioned.
It was really nice to hear you. So I just ask, I mean, it reminded me the way you thought you were composing, taking the fragments there and then trying to do the unity, and also the sound. It reminded me the Sprache guitar of Serie. And so that period when he was writing that, he was using some kind of same method to keep the fragments separated and then trying to find somehow a unity that he was changing, trying to find. So I just wanted to know, and another thing you say that we are somehow called to give, to respond to a unity, also when we are negating it.
Pardon, I didn't get the whole sentence. Yeah.
So another thing you were saying was that we are called to respond to the unity, also when we are negating it. So I just want to ask the relation between the fragments, the space, the composition, and the unity that seems a very real tension in what I have written in the work.
The unity, you mean the unity of a form or of a society, or I don't know if I get you right. Yeah.
And the unity that one finds also outside the text.
Yeah. I mean, this book was special and is special for me because I tried. It was also trial and error. Yeah, I tried to establish relationships between unity and fragments, and the composition of the whole book, because there are texts in it like that I read, but also poems, yeah? And this is so-called normal real poems, put like that, without the glossary, and I think it was very important for me to do this composition, having not only texts like that, yeah, but also some prosaic, self-interviewing prose text, and then, like Sentences for Life, a poem. And I think, I do hope, that when you read it or when you listen to the reading, but also you have the book as a room, between this poem put like this, and between this other text having another form, there are certain relationships, and this is the unity. I mean, it's not a total system, but for me, unity is connecting these different shapes, like Maria put it, shape, form, shape, it's also a relationship, and connecting these different forms, yeah? To establish some sort, I have to put it in this way, I'm seeking words in English, to establish some sort of unity, but which is also, again, broken in itself. So it's this dimension, with, especially for this book, was very important to me. And it starts with an alphabet, which is a poem. A soll sein, suche B. C ist unendlich. A, maybe because this is, I mean, it's alphabet. I put the alphabet in front of the book. So I like to write and to deal with lists like the red list. Yeah, the alphabet for me is the list. Yeah, but it's also list in the double sense of what does list mean? Like Ulysses, he was a very what has list in English? Oh my God, I had 8 years of English in school, and now I'm sitting here looking, seeking words. The list is something like that, but also if you are very witty, this is a list, like Ulysses was. I don't know if I can, yeah.
We will find it.
No, but I try to establish the unity with fragments and with different genres. For me, this genre problem is a permanent problem. Yeah, in the very positive way too, but also concerning the literary market, it's not so good because they always like to put literature into boxes. Yeah, it's poetry, it's novels. I mean, when I started, my first book was composed of 3 short plays and poems. And for 6 years, I had to look for a publishing house, and then it was by chance, through my partner who knew a lecturer. He said, "Oh, that's great." But of course, it was an Austrian publishing house. I didn't send the manuscript to German publishers because I knew they wouldn't. So I think this genre, this composition of genre and dealing with fragments and unity is for me now for many years. I'm dealing with it. It will never stop because it really I have question about this and I didn't find the text which for me is now it's done with this thing. So yeah, I have to. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so you put it in the right words. We don't. Yeah.
I was really impressed by the way you read your poems. You put it in a sound, that's particular. And I think that German, generally speaking, has this beautiful and precious dimension that you can understand how compounded words are created. That's particular of the German language. So I'm just curious. I was thinking, do you tend to read your poems in the same way, or you identify sort of underground sounds while reading?
Yeah. I have to say when I started writing, for me it's an oral thing. I mean, it's not only poetry, but poetry, especially poetry, it's oral. Yeah, and when I'm writing, it doesn't depend either if it's prose, short prose. I don't write novels, that's for sure. I can tell that. Yeah, but short prose and especially dramatic forms, lyrical dramatic forms. I read aloud. I'm living alone in my flat, and I can shout and I can read aloud, and I control, in some way, I control my writing with my voice, which for me is very important, even if it's not a poem. For me, the sentence, this is why I put zu den Sätzen here, the sentence as a unity, now speaking of the unity of the sentence, of the phrase, it has to be, for me, in a certain, it's also a rhythmic unity. And then there's another sentence, and the composition of sentences is also a rhythmic. It's not only content, but it's a rhythmic composition for me. And when I'm writing, I repeat, now I'm listening, and then I say, oh no, that it doesn't function. It not only functions, but it doesn't sound well. So for me, the voice is the oral tradition of literature, not only of poetry, but especially poetry, of course, yeah, is very important. And I like to work, for example, now I have been teaching for 7 years now at the Max Reinhardt seminar, and I like to work with students studying acting and directing, because we are so much talking about space and body, the voice in the body, within the body, and the voice wandering from the feet to your head. And yeah, so my English, okay. Thank you.
Grazie.
Thank you.